So now here's Dylan Radigan in a park.
I mean, honestly, Jimmy, it's fancier than the studio I do Political Vigilante, and I just did it in my apartment. He's in a lake and a park. What's next going to be like? At the Grand Canyon, Dylan Radigan.
So now, I've showed this video before, but it is so instructional, it's really worth showing again. It's only a minute long. So here he is. Now I'm going to talk about the Russia thing. I know, right? But I'm going to talk about it in a different way. I'm going to talk about how it's bullshit and we should stop talking about it. So, and here's why it's bullshit, because trying to pretend that our leaders aren't 100%, we live in a 100% corrupt country right now. They steal and cheat right out in the fucking open. They don't even hide it anymore. Barack Obama, on his way out the door, gives a giveaway to an equity firm, keeping rents artificially high and making it harder for first-time home buyers. He goes and wins sales with that Branson guy. When he comes back into public life, the first thing he does is he takes a $500,000 paycheck from a fucking bank that he just fucking bailed out. It's unfucking believable. And then the goddamn Daily Show fucking tweets out, they do segments about how it's cool for him to be corrupted. And that even the fucking comedians are corrupted. Not this motherfucker. That's right. So, but I'm willing to be. Believe me, I poke fun at them, but I would like a $6,000 suit like Chris Hayes myself. And I would like a $20 million Manhattan apartment like Rachel Maddow. That would be fantastic. I would even be gay for that.
Oh, yes, sir.
Money's under the sink. What's that? Money's under the sink? Thank you very much. So here's Dylan Radigan.
So, again, while the FBI director example gives those with a partisan view against Donald Trump, and it's easy to be against Donald Trump, the obvious fuel to suggest that he's a criminal who's a terrible guy, blah, 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 under investigation, probably true. But if you believe that, then you probably also need to consider that Hillary Clinton was taking money through her foundation to do weapons deals overseas while personally enriching herself, and that Barack Obama is paid off by the private health insurance companies and the banks to make sure that we don't actually have proper health care or a functioning financial system. It's hard to believe one and not accept the other two.
I don't know if you noticed, but his bus came right in the middle and he kept going.
That's commitment.
That guy's got a story, he wants to get it out. So you see why he's not going to be ever on television again, right? Right, that's right. All right, so now we're going to show you the origins, first of all, of the Russia bullshit McCarthyism smears or whatever propaganda that's been being pushed through the media from the Democrats and through all the neoliberal elite has been pushing this Russia thing. And where did it come from? This is an internal document from the Hillary Clinton campaign, and it was created. Hillary Clinton for President consultant team, guy named Pete Brodnitz. This is from June 26, 2015, and this is from an internal poll they did on the horse race, and it's called Top Line Results. So if you look where that arrow points, that's the conclusion of their internal polling was that Secretary Clinton's top vulnerability as tested in this poll is the attack that claims that as Secretary of State, she signed off on a deal that gave the Russian government control over 20% of Americans' uranium production after investors in the deal donated over $140 million to the Clinton Foundation, just like Dylan Radigan just said. And by the way, Bill Clinton also got $500,000 from a Kremlin-connected bank at the same time as this deal was going through, and that was among his highest paid speeches of his life. So that's real. So that's a real connection. her internal polling showed that that was her biggest vulnerability because half of all likely voters are less likely to support Clinton after hearing that statement, and 17% were much less likely to support. So they said that was her biggest vulnerability. And what do you do with your vulnerability? You throw it on your opponent. Also, what is your opponent's biggest strength? You attack it. When John Kerry ran against George Bush, he was a war hero. He had Purple Hearts and a Bronze Star. They attacked his Purple Hearts. They said they were all fake. He got them when he was running away. His guys who worked with him on the Swift boat hated him. That's where they attacked his strength. And so Donald Trump's biggest strength was his patriotism. So they fucking take her biggest vulnerability and they throw it on his biggest strength. And that was a decision made by John fucking Podesta. And how do I know that? Because here it is, 2015. So just a few months after that internal report, Donald Trump starts to surge. At the end of 2015, he starts to surge, and they start to get scared. So if you read that part in blue at the bottom, what it says is, the best approach is to slaughter Donald for his bromance with Putin. That's from December 2015, after the June thing. So there you go. That's where this comes from. This is fucking made up. And you know how I know it will never be proven is because the FBI and the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, were not allowed to look at the DNC or Podesta servers. So we'll never have fucking proof ever. That's the only way you could prove it. So there you go. How is that fucking you tell me how that's fucking possible.
That's why we're here.
I'll tell you how that's possible, because they're all fucking corrupt. That's how it's possible. Because at the time, Loretta Lynch was running the Department of Justice. That's why. Because Barack Obama was the president. That's why. And everybody thought Hillary Clinton was going to be fucking president. That's why it happened. I just answered.
You know, I do have one small discrepancy with the article, though. I still think that Hillary Clinton's biggest vulnerability is whenever she would speak. I might be wrong.
Yeah, and you think Pierce Brosnan has no personality, no charisma? Are you kidding me? Hillary Clinton's about as inspirational as off-white paint. She's horrible.
So here's...
But I'm sorry, when Hillary does that robotic turn to the teleprompter and gives some speech about Main Street and blah, 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 platitude, blah, 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 blah.
She's part
fighting
stone.
for women.
Yeah.
The world's over. So when I remember when Trump met with Putin, everybody, all they could ask about was, did you talk about the hacking? Did you talk about the election? And everybody's giving him shit about it. And I found this article from, this is November 20th. So this was 20 minus 8 is 12. So that's 12 days after the election. I'm not a math scientist, but...
Math scientist?
The election was... So... You guys know I'm dumb, right? I come from a dumb family. You guys know I'm not kidding when I say that I'm dumb. I just have a good bullshit detector and a sense of humor. We're all dumb. My whole family's dumb. And you know how I know it? Here's how I know it.
You're not rich.
So, well, there are a lot of smart people. I know a lot of people smarter than me, poor. But I will say this. So, like, in a normal family, if someone knows something that you don't, you're like, oh, please tell me. I'd also like to grow. But not in a dumb family. In a dumb family, if someone knows something you don't, it threatens you. And then you try to knock them down a few pegs. Right? So, like, the most recent thing that happened was my oldest brother lost his job and he started his own little company. And we're all sitting around talking. And he says, you know, I found out I can make just as much money with 5 employees as I used to make with 6. And I go, I think that's called the law of diminishing returns. I think. I don't know. And my dad goes, call it whatever you want. It's about making money, stupid. That's my dad, right? As if to say, look at this guy. First he gets a book. Then he reads it. retains that information and then shares it at an appropriate moment, like an asshole.